Um, Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're listening from and your time zone. My name is Austine Unuriode. I'm a master's student at Austine Peay State University, and I'm studying computer science and quantitative method. Uh, the topic, um, the topic of our research is the impact of AI on U.S. labor markets. And as you can see on the screen, these are the co-authors of this paper, whom I also believe are on this call. We've been able to break down our research paper into all of this agenda, which will guide us on the research on this presentation and would enable us to discuss key issues as regarding the impact that the AI has had on the US labor markets as it is today. Like one of the presenter earlier presented, her topic was on ChatGPT, which is the rave of the moment. We agreed on a single thing here that this ChatGPT has had significant impact on a whole lot of activities and a whole lot of industries, and has changed a whole lot of ways that we do things uh, before now. And this is one of the impacts that AI is making. And in addition to this, we will quite agree also that there would have been some jobs that would have been lost up until now, just for the advent of just a single tool, which is called ChatGPT. And AI is so um, powerful to the extent that it has no boundaries, it has no border. What that means is the fact that it cut across a whole lot of industry, ranging from the law firm to the financial industry to medicine to manufacturing, name it. It's just beckon on the fact that if us human can think of a possible solution and write down the algorithm, then definitely over time the system would build itself and learn from a whole lot of data that will pack it and be able to even do more than what we have set it to do at the beginning. We decided to focus on the US market for this research, and that's because of the fact that um, US is one of the leading countries in the advancement of technology, and particularly AI. And there is an argument that says that the automation part of AI will take away routine jobs. We quite agree with this saying, and our research would further give us insights to why we had this argument. And also, on the other hand, we also believe that in addition to the displacement of jobs that would see in the routine part, AI will also give us opportunity to will also create new jobs and even improve some skill sets that we currently have or that has currently been improved already. Our research and this presentation, we centered it around these four items: the evaluation of job placement and creation, skills shift, the quality of AI impact on performance, and exploring the relationship between AI models and human task. Just to conclude the introduction, our findings will suggest more of an optimistic outlook for the labor market rather than displacing jobs alone or workers. And AI technology has the potential, like we already seen in our present days, um, to create new opportunities, even though while some old ones are still being displaced. Now, um, going back to memory lane and going back to history, yes, there is a lot of fears in the air that AI would displace a lot of jobs and do a whole lot of shift in the in various industry. But truth be told, this advancement in technology or changes in the labor market did not just start today, right? We've had a change or a shift in the way we previously done things in the past. And so what we're experiencing with the advent of AI today is not something that is out of place. But the question is, what makes AI so special? And I think my next slide will speak more to that. And just to run us through this slide, the first point there, where we've had a serious change in history of how things, of the change of how things were done were in the Industrial Revolution. And this was in the late 18th century to 19th century, where the steam engine was developed. And this, at that time, displaced a lot of jobs also, and it revolutionized the industry of manufacturing, transportation, and even the agricultural sector. So it did not just, displacement of jobs did not just start today. It has always been there, right? The second point is the mechanization of agriculture, ranging from late 90s to early 20s. Right, the introduction or the development of the mechanical advanced harvesters and tractor brought about a whole lot of change in the agricultural sector, and that's because it reduced a whole lot of manual labor, whereby a whole lot of farmers lost basically some of their jobs, because tractors and harvesters were able to do the jobs that they were doing in an even more efficient and very fast paced. And another point where we've experienced a serious shift in the industry is the when Henry Ford implemented the assembling line in automobile manufacturing industry. This was a drastic change, because in addition to being a change, it also brought about an increase in production and in terms of efficiency and speed. And a whole lot of jobs were actually displaced at that point in time. And this happened in the early 20th century. Now, the next point is the computerization and automation. That's the advent of computers and software, and it's still up to date. And we would all agree also that this significant advancement in technology has brought a whole lot of change in human history, right? There are so many jobs, so many things that we used to do manually in the past that computers has basically taken over, such as data entry, calculation, even customer service is also gradually going into extinction, and AI and robots are gradually replacing that aspect of the industry also. Then the next point is digitization and e-commerce and internet. The introduction of this brought about the advent of the internet commerce and e-commerce, and this brought a whole lot of challenges for the traditional bricks and mortar stores, because the online retailers basically had more access to people, and a whole lot of local retail store, traditional retail store, practically had to probably close up, and people that were working in those retail stores, yes, will obviously lose their job. And the last point is what we're currently discussing today, the advent of robots and an AI system. And the truth of the matter is, this is something we've never experienced. And in my next slide, I would share the reason why this is so much powerful and different. Now, I will discuss this in these 5 points, and at the end, we will agree that, oh, this is quite different from what we've experienced in the past, and this is why we also have the fear. Why a whole lot of people have fears that this technology would cause a shift and it will take a whole lot of jobs from humans. The first thing is autonomy and intelligence. This is a clear fact that AI over time, it becomes so intelligent and operates on its own, makes decisions as close as human, and work on complex algorithm and data on its own. All you need to do is just feed it the data, train it over time, and it can perform other cognitive tasks just as human, traditional tasks just as human, all by itself. This is something that has never been experienced before. And this is one of the reasons why there are fears that this might lead to a whole lot of job loss, and it will have a whole lot of impact on the labor market as a whole. And the second point is the versatility and adaptability. Yes, obviously, AI has the power to adapt to different tasks and different environments. It can be programmed to do a wide range of things. Like I said at the beginning, if a human being can conceive it and build the algorithm, then definitely over time, AI will be able to adapt to, excuse me, to adapt to whatever task and environment that you decide to employ it, or whatever industry you decide to deploy it. Another point here is the learning and evolution. Uh, yes, this is part of the strength of AI, that the fact that it has the ability to learn from data over time, and the more it's learned, the more it develop a new technique or skills of doing the job or whatever tasks even better. And some of the areas which this has been done is the machine learning and deep learning. And these were some of the areas in which some presenters today has been able to explore in depth in different spheres and different industry. They were able to use machine learning um, to bring out some interpretation, show some trends, show some analysis, and there were some good recommendations as to what AI could be used to do in various fields. Another point is the interactiveness and human-like interface. This is another powerful aspect of AI, and this is what makes it special, right? It has that human ability. It can interact with you as though it's human. And this has been prominent in the customer service industry, whereby sometimes when you call some industries or companies, for the first few minutes, you will think you're talking to a human being, but actually you're talking to a machine, right? And the machine eventually turns you to a human being when your requests or issues become so personal. But at the end of the day, the first few minutes would have been something a human being would have done, but AI has been used to replace that, and you don't even know the difference, right? And the last point is the impact on knowledge work. Yes, as in addition to taking away a whole lot of jobs, in addition to creating a whole lot of jobs, it's also bring the awareness of the fact that uh, it also help us to advance in a whole lot of way that we've been doing things in the past, or the ways in which we've attacked or be able to um, do some tasks in the past. And some of the skills we've actually used AI to perfect it or to sharpen it. Right. So these are what makes AI so special, and this is why we have a whole lot of fears as to um, the impact this would have on the labor market and the workforce itself. And this slide basically shows the overview of AI and the US markets. What this simply means is what are the areas that AI has been able to, um, what areas in the US labor market has AI been able to make progress? What has AI been, in the presence of AI, what impact has it made basically? And we summarize this section in 5 points. And the very first one is AI integration into the US labor market, right? Integrating AI into the US labor market represents a serious paradigm shift with far-reaching implication, right? And AI has the potential, and this is obviously true, to revolutionize how work is performed, impacting both the nature of the jobs and overall employment landscape, which I have mentioned something relating to this in my previous slide. The next point is the adoption, the industry adoption. This is one of the versatility of AI in the sense that currently in the US labor market, a whole lot of industries, right, has adopted AI in one way or the other, right? In the service rendering or in their product or something, right? There is practically no industry you would go to now or you interact with where you will not find the impact or the influence or the use of AI, and that's how vast this has been integrated into the US labor market. Another point we have here is the job transformation. Uh, Obviously, this is true too, right? Because there has been a lot of transformation as to the current job we have just by the advent of AI alone. And there is also concern that jobs displacements. I've mentioned this a couple of times, right? Because of the power of AI, the versatility, and what it can do, there are a whole lot of concerns in the US market as regarding AI, its power, its potentials, and a whole lot of things it can do. Now, the last point is non-uniform impact. In as much as I mentioned that there has been serious integration into virtually almost every part of the labor market in US in terms of the industry penetration. This penetration has not been so much uniform, right? There are demographics, there are industries that have had better use and experience of this than the other. There are industries that the displacement or the impact has negatively affected when compared to others. I would cite an example like the financial industry, like the manufacturing industry. These are industry where AI has practically had so much impact in terms of the adoption and what it's being used for on a daily basis. I would conclude this slide by saying that AI represents a transformative force in the US job market with the potential to reshape the nature of work, create new opportunity, and addressing long-standing challenges. And this would further be buttressed in our subsequent slide. Now, to be more specific, right, we will try to narrow the impact that AI has actually had on the US labor market. And we section this into three parts: job displacement, job creation, and workforce. We just gave a little examples and of those jobs that we think has been affected, has been created, and some of the skills that has also been developed as a result of this. And the first one, starting from the very beginning, is the job placement. I have mentioned this before, that routine tasks obviously will go. There are some parts of manufacturing that will be automated, and robots would definitely take over. I have worked in the manufacturing industry before, and I can say that in the assembly line, 80 to 60 to 80% of the job done there are done by robots, right? And this obviously displaces a whole lot of people. And I've also mentioned that customer service is another area that has been seriously hit in terms of displacement. Then in terms of job creation, right? AI has also been able to create a whole lot of new jobs right? In addition to displacing the old ones. And in terms of AI developers, AI and engineers, AI trainers, AI ethics regulators, and augmented roles. Many professionals or profession benefit from AI augmentation, whereby human worker collaborates with AI system to enhance productivity and decision making. And an example of this is doctor using AI for diagnosis, and also financial analysts leveraging AI for their data analysis. Then the last point here is um, workforce skill requirement. And what we notice that this has produced is digital literacy, data literacy, AI skills, and problem solving, right? So this slide basically just talked about, we try to narrow down in specific the areas which AI has imparted, where AI has been able to create jobs, and the skills that it has been able to enhance. Now, the methodology and the analysis we did, this is the outcome of the data set we got from Cargo after we've done some pre-processing and was able to clean up the data. The next slide simply talks about description of the various columns of that we have in the data set, and and how and the impact and what they basically means. Then from here, we were able to carry out some analysis. Like I have mentioned before, some of these jobs, we think that will be mostly impacted by AI. And looking at it and looking through it, you would agree with me that a whole lot of them, in a way, has some routineness and repetitive tasks in them. The very first one is customer communication manager. Yeah, there are AIs that can basically communicate. All thanks to the NLP, right? Natural language processing. And so we think that this would be the most impacted from the data we got after we did an analysis, and we saw that, hey, this show a very strong correlation. And this showed the least impacted. And again, looking at it, uh, it's funny when I saw the first one, marine mama's trainer. The thing is, it's possible that in a couple of weeks, months, years, somebody would be able to develop something like this, right? Because, like I mentioned, it's just depend on how much human beings are able to rally around all of these algorithm that we have, or the existing AI tools that we have, to create something else. And I would not be surprised if these tables or charts changes in a couple of weeks, months, or years from now, and the reverse become the case. Now, moving on, what we basically did in this research was we were able to use Pearson correlation analysis to compare two aspects. And those two aspects were the relationship between AI influence itself on human performed task, and the AI and the relationship between AI models and human performed task. And just to quickly explain what Pearson correlation is, it's also known as Pearson correlation coefficient, which mention a linear relationship between two continuous variables. And so we notice that these two variables that we are comparing here are obviously continuous. The influence of AI and the perform task, and the models and the perform task. And this can be judged from two points, either positive or negative, strongly correlated, or not strong or weak, or not strongly correlated. And it's usually range from a -1 to a positive 1. So moving on, this was the outcome of our analysis, whereby we say that the impact of AI has a negative impact on the task. If you look at the chart very well, you have negative 0.420, right? And from what I define as Pearson correlation before, this is strongly negative correlated. And our result and interpretation in the next slide would further explain the outcome of this. Now, so we were able to find out that the presence of AI alone, the influence of AI alone is negatively correlated with the task. What that means is this, right? I know I have mentioned before that there will be job creation, but this analysis shows that the influence of AI on human task or human performed task are negative correlated. So it means that the more the advancement of AI, right, the more the reduced the task that will be performed by humans, which technically leads to job displacement, because AI, the influence of AI would bring up efficiency, innovation, and a better way to do things, faster way to do things. A whole lot of industry will integrate it. At the end of the day, it will be used to do so much things, and when that happens, a whole lot of people would it will be negatively affect a whole lot of people, and they would not have jobs. So this buttress the point we earlier gave. One of the points we earlier mentioned, that it will lead to job creation, but this is not a sad news, because the next analysis would show that the models that has been built by AI, for the models that have been built as AI tools, also has a strong correlation with the task, right? So it's not all bad news at the end of the day. And the explanation to this is simply that this has a very strong correlation of 0.92 compared to the previous ones, which was a negative 0.42. Right, and which this simply shows that the more AI models that will be built, it will give us opportunity um, to create more new jobs, advance more skills, and create more job opportunity. So if the first one is taking away jobs, this definitely is creating new jobs. So it's more like balancing each other out. So it's not, like I said, it's not all bad news at the end of the day. Now, our conclusion. The integration of AI in various industry is reshaping the US labor markets, with automation leading to job displacement in certain sectors. However, AI also creates a new job opportunity, like we saw in our analysis. And the demand for AI professional is rising, because the more you build more models, the more you have to hire more people that would understand those models and be able to use it more effectively, just like the case of ChatGPT. Uh, if you want to get a very good answer out of ChatGPT, you have to learn how to use it very well. Likewise, other AI tools that has been developed over time, right? And it has also helped policymakers and to ensure that good decisions are being made, and a conclusive one at that. Now, what are our recommendations to effectively navigate the transformative landscape of AI and ML? Prioritizing education in digital literacy and AI skill is essential, right? Because this has come to stay. Um, this is the future. This is not going anywhere, and we are only going to get better at it while we use it. So we have to understand, we have to learn how it works, and what has been built so far, people has to learn how to use those things. And alongside fostering collaboration between industry and education through partnership and experimental learning opportunity. Ethical AI adoption, including transparency and accountability, is crucial, as are all efforts to address worker displacement and promote inclusivity and diversity in AI continuously monitor public awareness campaign and international collaboration further responsible for AI adoption and risk management. So we've come to the end of my presentation, and I hope I was able to, given our analysis, we were able to show that in as much as there will be displacement of job as a result of the influence of AI, there would also be creation as a result of the models or AI algorithm or AI tools that has been built over time, because all of these things needs people to use them effectively for us to be able to solve some of the tasks that we currently have, or challenges that is currently befalling the human race and human existence itself. Thank you so very much.